if there's hopefully some positivity that comes out of this whole horrendous sort of time and environment, it is that there's a light shone on all the wonderful things you all do and on the social care sector, and it allows people to acknowledge and respect and appreciate everything that you guys are doing. You start this job, it's something that sort of it's more a vocation, I imagine, for a lot of you than it is just a job.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always said that it's not a 9-to-5 job. It's something that's sort of within you, and you know as soon as you start that that's it, that's what you want to do.
What we do as personal assistants is we focus on whole life.
That we're away from our own families. So in terms of our own emotional needs, they're real, very real, because we are there for our client.
We aim to reassure that, you know, we will still provide the best level of care. We're there to reassure the families that can't go anymore. But the support that we get from the office is just absolutely incredible. The main aspect is keeping people safe in their homes at this time.
Your carers are like nurses as well. They're very huggy people. And they like to give, to give a lot of hugs. And the nurses are saying the same thing as well. You can see they're very sad that they can't hug as many people as they want to right now.
Extremely hard to show your emotions and your facial expressions to someone that are desperate to see you smiling and they can't see it behind a mask. It's sad.
It's very important for my staff team that they don't feel isolated as well. So as a staff team, we support each other for WhatsApp, texting each other. We try to do virtual reality meetings, and we have lunch together on the Skype. You know what I mean? What are you eating today? All this. So we try to keep that mahal going.
The changes in your lives going on with your families, your work now being much more concentrated, if you like, and more intense. Do some of you, and have you spoken to other colleagues and other friends who are finding this quite tough, and what are you all doing to kind of manage that pressure and that intensity?
At the moment, I've got a 13-year-old child that's living with Nan. Just the simple fact that if I came to work and then took her back to her nan's, they're older, so they're isolating themselves. So she's in isolation with them. I haven't seen her for coming up for 2 months. That's hard. My 8-year-old, he's with Nan too. He's loving it. he's getting spoiled rotten. So it is hard, but I know there's an end to this soon, and that I can be back with them. They're safe, I'm safe, and my residents are safe.
Sometimes it's just checking in on people and asking that question, are you okay? And giving the time to listen and to share our experiences, share practices, share our stories.
Personally, for me, for my staff team, we care what we do. We're passionate, as everyone said. But we have to protect ourselves as well. We have to make sure we look after ourselves. If we're not well, how can we look after someone else?
So I think when we talk about the essential carers, the key workers, I feel very proud reading the fact that, you know, I'm part of the key workers. But I think what we don't do is we don't use the word social carers in the same light as the NHS staff. And I think, if I can be that bold, is that's what we need to sort of see.
With 2 million social care workers in the country, and the work that we do and how we support people, it is essential that that recognition finally starts to happen. I do sincerely hope that this crisis has helped the wider society understand how, first of all, highly skilled care workers are.
Unless you actually have a part of your life that's affected by it or engaged with it, it's not until that moment that you really truly appreciate all the wonderful people doing an incredible job. And that's where I feel privileged that, you know, the things that we do as a family is we get to meet people from so many different walks of life and so many different sectors and areas that you do start to build a little bit of a picture of all these things happening before you sort of come across it personally, like a lot of people. So I really do hope that it's, you know, we see a shift, if you like, towards attitudes and an appreciation to all the wonderful things you're all doing. I just want to say again a huge thank you for all the hard work and all the personal sacrifice you're all putting in. It's clear that it's taking its toll. It's been a long road, and you know, we don't know how many more corners on this road we've got to go round. It is highly appreciated and acknowledged by everybody what you're doing.
Children's residential services have been, as you can imagine, impacted significantly. I suppose in relation to the young people, you know, life was going on as normal and day-to-day expectations were as they would be. And then all of a sudden, in their view, their world completely changed. And one of the big challenges at the start was how we help the young people understand, because for all of us, you know, every day in March brought a new, you know, surprise, shock, trauma, and the same then for the young people. So a lot of resources went into trying to help them understand and come to terms with their new way of living.
I mean, the families that I work with, their children, they can't typically just take them out to a park without an extensive amount of planning. And they rely on a wide range of services across schools, across short break units, across support workers to keep them afloat. And all of those have been lost because the children that I work with don't understand social distancing. And you can imagine
that's all children, isn't it? I don't think any children understand social distancing.
Yeah. So you can imagine, particularly older children with autism and learning disability whose behaviour is very challenging. Particularly in the inpatient unit that I work in, the nursing staff have been absolutely heroic throughout all of this and working with those children and remaining compassionate towards them. So it's been quite humbling for me.
Yeah, and it's evident up and down the country, I think, how brilliant the frontline staff have been in terms of answering the call, and it's indicative of all of them that they're so determined, so dedicated. They don't want to let anyone down, least of all their colleagues, by giving them more work to do if they have to take time off. So I am worried about everyone's long-term health and kind of the implications of that, because it's a hard enough job as it is on a normal day, let alone the circumstances that you're all facing at the moment. I'm particularly worried, Francis, as to how the young people are going to cope, you know, long term, because I think we're all muddling through this period at the moment and helping each other, but the long-term implications of school being missed, anxiety levels, family members, you know, sadly dying, and the sort of general maybe economic outlook. Do you think that's going to play heavily on your services and what people are going to need?
Yeah, interestingly, in our service in the short term, some of our referral rates have gone down, but I would imagine as we're starting to come out of lockdown and people starting to get back into the world again and starting to realise just what we've been through, I think that we will see our referral rates increase and the impact on services.
Without a doubt, older people living in nursing homes have been infected by the pandemic, so they have, and that has created a lot of challenges within the care home sector, both with families not being able to visit, but then with people dying and loved ones not being able to spend time with them prior to their death and the way they normally do.
But it must be very difficult not providing or not being able to provide that human touch, that kind of face-to-face care. Is very difficult when you're behind a mask and goggles and aprons.
Yeah, I think particularly for children with autism and intellectual disability, they who often have, a lot of the children I work with are non-verbal, so they don't communicate verbally, and they rely a lot on looking at your face to communicate. So in the inpatient unit that I work in, the staff have been very creative and have taken big smiling pictures of themselves and then pinned those to their front so that the child knows what they look like underneath the mask. So it's encouraged a lot of innovation, I guess, as well.
Our staff have bought huge big teddy bears, especially for the younger young people who really need hugs and come in to, you know, get touched and feel. So we bought teddy bears to help them, you know, if you want a hug, here you go, and the hug the teddy with the staff beside them. So it's been interesting, but as you say, Claire, staff are coming up with really innovative ideas and throwing them out. We're running with them and they're working. They're absolutely working.
Everyone needs a hug, Emma. Very important.
They do, sir.
I would just like to say before I go that I'm hugely grateful for all you're doing, and I hope enough people are saying thank you and appreciating all the hard work that not only you but all your teams are doing right now. I know it's unprecedented. I know it's quite scary and it's daunting, but you're all making a huge difference. You really are. And so please pass on to all your teams how grateful everyone is and how appreciative everyone is for everything they're doing at the moment.